Welcome, folks. As we approach the 11th hour on this, the 11th day of the 11th month, we come together, Canadians and Americans here in Point Roberts, together in unity and with gratitude for the sacrifices of our soldiers, sailors, air crews, and merchant mariners. Since 1919, the citizens of our two great nations have come together on this day to recognize our military. Please join us for the national anthem directed by our Ron Walling, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Army, retired. Sir?
I'm going to really change things up. 3 years in a row we've done the national anthem first. We're going to do O Canada first. And then we'll do two verses of Star Spangled Banner because I got a one-up, you know.
For the land of
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Swami. Our chief, Christopher Carlton, is arguably the chief unifier for all of us in this unique community of Point Roberts. Chief Carlton.
You can all be seated. Okay, everybody stand up. Okay, everybody sit down. Last year I wasn't able to make this Remembrance Day, and I'm always humbled to be standing in front of you with all the vets that are currently in this room and the vets that are unable to be here. Those that have served on both sides of our borders and around the world to protect the liberties that we currently are able to enjoy. So I want to thank all of you for taking the time out of your day, this Remembrance Day, this Veterans Day, to come here to our organization, which is a community organization. It's for all people. And thank you for helping us celebrate this time with our friends, with our families, and our loved ones. My nephew is in the Navy in the United States. He just got done with his corpsmanship, and he is posted at Camp Pendleton in San Diego. So obviously I need to go to San Diego to see him and to see some sunshine. But he's been on a number of deployments. Now he's with the 1st Marine Corps, and he will be deployed as one of the first groups that goes out if there's any further conflicts around the world. So my prayers are always with him and with everyone that serves on a daily basis. If I had to do it all over again, I would probably go into the service first. It was something that I came out of college with and was expecting to know my direction. But the fire service called me. And one day I walked into the fire station, and as you know, a number of firefighters are also veterans that we have. So I work alongside those who have served every day that I work in my career. If I had to do it again, I'd probably go back and I'd go into the service. I didn't have the inkling at the time when the opportunity presented itself. And that's something I may regret for the remainder of my life. But I want to express my thoughtfulness, my understanding, my sympathy, my empathies to all of those that are here today again, and to all of those that have served, allowing us to have the freedoms we have today. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much, Chief Carlton. Commissioner Bill Mersing is very well known to all of us here in Point Roberts. At one time he was known as Sergeant Mersing in the Royal Netherlands Army. His life experiences have been a great benefit to all of us here in Point Roberts. Commissioner Mersing.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. Chief Carlton, thank you. You are an inspiration to all of us here. You've done a great job here. Thank you for allowing us to use the hall today. Colonel Swalling, thank you for your opening remarks. And Rick Foreman, thank you for organizing this. Appreciate it very much, and thank you, the ladies in the kitchen. You're the unsung heroes, and I strongly recommend you have a sandwich or something to eat when this is over in about 20 minutes. The next item on your program you'll see is Flanders. And it is a poem that will be recited to us by Caitlin Jones, sitting right over here, first time she's here, I think. Her partner is over there somewhere, they're not married. But sinners. Also, I really should thank Esther Rosenthal and her husband. Henry is a complete workaholic in the food bank industry here. And the man does an amazing job with trying to help out everybody here. Why are we here today? Flanders. What does it really mean, Flanders? And what does the word poppy mean? I'll explain that to you. Flanders is an area in Belgium. That's where most of World War I was fought, in the trenches between England, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Japan on one side, and Germany, mostly Germany on the other side. And we've all heard of the trench war. And the trench war started basically in Belgium, in an area called Flanders. One of the major towns there is Ypres. Completely destroyed, of course, during the time of the war in 1914 all the way through 1918, when it ended at this date. Flanders have of course been completely rebuilt. If you go there today, you'll see nothing but historical sites, an awful lot of graves for Allied victims, also German victims. It is estimated that in Flanders, which is the size of half of the Lower Mainland, more than 1.5 million soldiers died. Flanders was written in the battlefield in 1915 by a physician attached to the English army. His name was Colonel Carey. It became obviously so popular that it's still with us 102 years later, 101 years later. The war ended late November 1918. That was the First World War, and it was also called the Great War, or the beginning of another war, and that was World War II, when Hitler took power. Poppies. Poppies grow in abundance in Afghanistan, and they're very popular there for various reasons. The poppies in Flanders, when that's where Flanders and poppies come together, were growing abundantly between the trenches that were dug by hand. There were very few machines at that time, and thousands and thousands of miles of trenches were dug by hand. And poppies were growing all over Flanders. Even now, if you go to the cemeteries, poppies are wildly abundant and visible. And at one time, they were used as a mild sedative as well during the war. Anyway, having said all that, I'm going to give the podium to Caitlin. Oh, haven't you?
Sure.
Come on. Thank you all.
See a proposal in my future.
What?
See a proposal in my future.
I'll have to check that out.
Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. That mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved. And now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up the quarrel with the flow. To you from falling hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Thank you, Caitlin. Caitlin is a Maple Beach socialite and second generation blonde vivant. Seems to me that the commissioner's itching to perform a wedding ceremony. Today we recognize the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice Today we recognize the men and women who have served in other roles, including peacekeeping and assistance in disaster zones and trouble spots worldwide. We are honored today to have amongst us veterans of the Second World War, Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan and Iraq, as well as men and women who trained and readied but were not called to arms. Today we honor these military personnel for the sacrifices they made in an effort to bring hope and freedom to less fortunate citizens and war torn nations. We remember and pay tribute to our veterans who never returned home. We remember and pay tribute to our veterans who returned home but with injuries, both physical and psychological. We remember our warriors who are amongst us here today. And we also remember our military personnel that are presently serving both at home and abroad. Please, if you'd stand with us for a moment of silence when we can reflect on the very serious nature of why we're gathered here today. Followed by last post performed by our Ethel Rosenthal, Esther Rosenthal. 1 minute silence, folks. Thank you, Esther. Now call on Howard Lowe, a former member of the Royal Canadian Air Force, who's going to recite a poem that he wrote while in the service.
First, let me say it's an honor for me to be here and celebrate this day with my friends from the United States. It's an honor to welcome you all. Now, when the Vietnam War was on, Canada was never officially at war in Vietnam. However, 3,000 or so Canadians went south and joined up with the Americans and served in Vietnam. The same thing happened in World War II. Before the United States was officially in the Second World War, many came up across the line and joined the Allied services. Anyway, I wrote this poem in honor of my friends and compatriots that went down to Vietnam and served with the Americans. I wrote this, and it goes something like this. It's off to Vietnam, it's off to the war, it's off to Vietnam to help our neighbor. We came from the villages, we came from the towns, we came from the city where Confederation was found. We fought with the Americans, we fought by their side. When one life ended, we fought on with pride. We fought in the jungle, away from our homes, away from the mountains and the ocean that foams. The Americans fought bravely, but we were there too. Our help was appreciated, although we were few. Now the war is all over. It never was won. Many Canadians have died. Their peace work is done. We helped out our neighbor with no doubts at all. Now all that is left is our names on the wall. Now all that is left is our names on the wall. Thank you.
Thanks, folks. That concludes our ceremony today. We hope for peace at some time in this world. In the meantime, we'll commemorate and remember our military folks. I know a lot of people are going to want their photos taken with Commander Gibson and Sergeant Al from the RCMP, so don't be afraid. Get your phones out and have your photos taken. Chief Carlton.
Again, everyone, thank you so much for being here to experience this time with us, to celebrate, to give thanks for all that we have. I'd like to invite you now to join us in coffee, refreshments, and we have some sandwiches that were made by the wonderful women, some of our personnel here, and we'd like you to stay around, meet each other, have some good conversations, and some memories shared. So thank you so much for coming today. Please enjoy our hospitality.